What's up, party people? I'm back! As many of you guys know, I've been away for about 6 or 7 months now. I think I kind of missed the deadline to talk about like my favorite products of the year, like the best of 2021. So I figured I would kind of do a little spin on it and talk about some things that I started doing last year that have kind of carried me over into this year. P.S. Before we get into it, if you want to know what I'm wearing on my face, I have a full breakdown in the description box below as usual. One of the most notable things I started doing in 2021 was I started using retinol. And granted, it was kind of towards the end of 2021, like I started using it in October. I wanted to get on it for numerous reasons. Number one, I just want to go ahead and start it and just kind of start it at an early age, and I want to use it for the rest of my life. But also because, and I put this in a post my community tab a while back, I started getting cystic acne back in like July or August. It was caused by a steroid. I think it was like prednisone, so be aware of that. That is not something that my doctor told me was a potential side effect. And that's one of the reasons why I went into like a black hole and I got super depressed because my face was a wreck. However, big however, you're supposed to experience initial side effects for like the first 6 weeks is what everyone says. You're supposed to go through what they call the retinol ugly stage, where either your skin starts purging and starts breaking out really bad just to kind of rid itself of all the toxins and the bacteria, or you get really dry and flaky. And for me, I didn't experience any side effects for the first like 5 weeks, but at the 5-week mark, my skin was like an alligator.
Oh, crikey!
And it continued to be that way until like December or January. Like I had to stop and start retinol 2 or 3 times, like stop it for 2 weeks and start back, and I can never get past that stage. It was super dry, very flaky, very tight, like my skin just looked like leather, and I stopped putting makeup on for a while because number one, nothing looks good over dry, flaky skin, and it didn't matter how much I moisturized, which I was very, very diligent about. However, that brings me to product number 2 that I introduced into my routine in 2021. Or was it this year? I think it was this year, but we're gonna say 2021. Okay, we're gonna be a little cheat. And that is Fractionated Coconut Oil. Where is that? This is Fractionated Coconut Oil, which I'd never heard of any like what's fractionated? What does that mean? And to be honest, I still don't know. I saw a hairstylist on TikTok talking about how fractionated coconut oil was so good for the hair. She said that using fractionated oil works so much better than using normal coconut oil. Like it penetrates the hair differently, like it actually absorbs. And I totally agree. I still don't know what fractionating means, but it's the best thing I've ever tried. So I initially started using it on my hair. Yeah, I'll do this 1 time a week. I'll let it sit on my hair for at least 30 minutes. Like it usually ends up being about an hour or 2, sometimes half the day. Oh my God, my hair's in the best shape and the best health that it's ever been. It's made me have less breakage. It's mended the split ends that I've had. Like I love this stuff so much. By the way, this is the Handcraft Blends brand. This is about $15, I think. That brings me to the second use. Not only do I put it on my hair, but I've been putting it on my face since about January because I got so tired of the dryness and the flakage. And I started using it on my face at night after my moisturizer, and oh my God, like why is no one talking about this? And let me just say that I was doing everything right. Like it's not like I started using retinol every single night. I started out using it 1 time a week. I couldn't even move up to like 2 times a week. I was stuck at the 1 time a week, and even that was hurting my skin. But I started using this at night, and I use this pretty much every single night now, and it has made such a big difference. I've not been dry, flaky, tight, dehydrated, nothing since I started using this. Like I'm not joking. This is one of the best skincare things I started doing for my skin like ever. The next thing I started doing, this is another skincare thing, is using Caffeine Eye Gels. Okay, just hear me out. I've always preached that eye creams are such a gimmick. In most cases, they are facial moisturizers in smaller jars. But I will say that 2021 and in 2022, I started using Caffeine Eye Gels more because I had in my collection. I've been sent 1 or 2 and they were just kind of sitting there. So I actually just started using them just to use them up because I got tired of old products sitting in my collection. And I realized like, this is the ticket, mama. The Good Molecules Wake Up Eye Gel. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the first part. Like I've heard people say it before and I can't remember, but it's like yerba mate. Yeah, it's pronounced yerba mate. You idiot. You as in me, myself. This is editing Ashley. You get it. Excuse me. I feel like whenever I use this, I can see a noticeable difference. Like it makes my under eyes and my face in general look more awake. It makes it look a little bit tighter. It makes it feel a little bit tighter, and you can just see like extra glow and hydration, kind of just like flattens out my under eye area, which typically I have a pretty concave, like sunken under eye. Like I've got some cavage. Like I feel like my under eyes, like my face in general looks, I feel like I look younger. Oh. Something else that I started doing in 2021, and I started doing it kind of before it was a trend. Now it's become less of a phase and more of a staple, and that is using more cream products versus powders. I almost use no powders. They would emphasize like texture and dryness and stuff like that, which is obvious, but they also just kind of like sat on the surface of the skin and it made my makeup look more makeup-y. I've learned that creams and liquid products, like cheap products in particular, look so much more youthful and they just sit on the skin so much better. It just looks better. Okay, the next thing I started doing is kind of weird, okay? This is something that goes against my entire being, all of my teachings, all my learnings. Like, it's something that I kind of discovered, it was by accident. I stopped letting my hair cool after curling. I started styling it right after I got done instead of letting it cool. Okay, let's teach a little bit, okay? By the way, I did go to cosmetology school. This was taught. Everyone says that you need to let your hair cool no matter what you're doing, whether you're blow drying it, whether you're curling it, straightening, whatever. You need to let your hair cool before you go in and style it out. I've always abided by that rule. I'll curl it, I won't brush it out. I'll usually just go put my clothes on, do a chore or something like that, and I'll come back about 5 or 10 minutes later and, you know, do the process, do the serum and the hairsprays and the brushing and the fingering and all that stuff. Ooh, sorry. But I realized by accident that my hair would always look better whenever I was in a hurry. And I figured out that whenever I was in a hurry, I wouldn't let my hair cool. Like I would just go in and do my normal style out process, spray it and be gone. Like every time I did that, my hair would look better, it would look smoother, and for some reason it would last longer. And I don't know if it's like a hair type thing. Like I think that everyone needs to try both ways. This is what makes sense to me. Like this is the only way I can make it make sense, because during the cooling process, I'd be walking around the house and I'd be bending over and picking stuff up and swinging around and stuff. Like my hair was getting like jostled around. The wind and the tossling was messing my hair up. Again, I think everyone needs to try both ways and see what works best for them. But yeah, not letting my hair cool before I style it out, it's kind of been a game changer. Another thing I started doing in 2021, which again, I never thought this would be me. I stopped using lipsticks. Not really stopped altogether, but like from a day-to-day basis, and honestly for most occasions, I don't use lipsticks anymore. Now I'm kind of more just about like lip liner and gloss. Like that's what I've got going on right now. It looks less made up. It just makes me look younger. Wow. So going along with the previous changes I've made with using less makeup as a whole, like that's a broad umbrella, okay? I've started using less makeup as a whole, but more specifically, I've started using less eyeshadow. It puts me in a predicament because I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, okay? I got a lot of eyeshadow, so we got some waste happening. I'm over the whole using 3 or 4 matte eyeshadows and 1 or 2 shimmers. Like I'm over it. And also, I've just stopped using shimmer a lot. Like for the most part, I use matte. Like I'm doing like matte eyeshadow looks now, which I used to not really do a whole lot. The natural matte looks, again, they make me look younger. When I leave out shimmer, it makes me look younger. When I stick to just neutral matte tan shades, like just 1 or 2, it just makes my eyes, it just makes them look open. We're so brainwashed because of all these tutorials and stuff, and I'm guilty of it too because we all went through that phase where you're throwing your bronzer on in the crease with some eyeliner and mascara. That's lazy. Girl, no it's not. You probably look better. Something else I started doing last year that completely changed the game for me, I stopped using powder under my eyes. I have a video talking about not using powder under your eyes. I'll link it up here if you are interested in it. I've got no setting powder on my face whatsoever, and I'm wearing L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, okay? No mattifying setting spray, no mattifying powder. Like I pretty much don't use setting powder anymore, which again is kind of a problem because I have about 20 in my collection. God, this video is gonna be forever long, but you know what? It's been a while. It's time to catch up a little bit. 2021 was also the year for me of doing the fox eye technique. That's basically where with liner, you just keep it from like the center of your lid and then you draw like a little flick, like you do the little wing and stuff. Like you don't bring it all the way in. Whenever I first tried it, I thought like, this looks off. Like this just doesn't look right. And it was because I wasn't fading the eyeliner into my lash line enough. You pretty much have to, and if you guys want me to do a video on this too, like a tutorial, I can do that. Like it's everywhere. So like everyone has a video doing it. But if you guys want to see how I do it, then let me know in the comments below. But you basically have to fade your liner into your lash line. You want your eyeliner to be literally in your lash line when you get to the center. If you do it right, it will make your eyes look more open and give you more lid space. You won't get transfer as bad. Going back to skincare introductions into my routine, I started using azelaic acid because, like I said, the cystic acne was real. It was real bad. I started seeing a lot of videos from dermatologists and estheticians talking about azelaic acid, which I had heard of, but I didn't really know what it was for. We weren't taught about azelaic acid in school, like in cosmetology school, but it's kind of like a cure-all. It's one of those ingredients that it kind of fixes everything. And I started using it for my dark spots and for my acne. There's a combination of things, like a combination of changes that I've made that, you know, they probably all work synergistically. Like they're all contributing in some way, but I started using the Naturium topical azelaic acid 10%, I think is what it is. Homie, look at this. Like, look, this is my picture again, okay? But look at this, like the dark spots, everything is just, like, my skin looks good. It's one of the reasons I was just like, you know what, let's get back into YouTube. So yeah, azelaic acid, like, look into it. So I put honorable mention. I started depotting my makeup in compacts. And you know what? It is so much fun. If you don't know what depotting is, it's basically like you take a straightener. This is how I do it anyway. You take a straightener, you put your compact on it, you let it sit there for a while, and it breaks the metal, like the pan that the product's in, it breaks it away from the palette or the compact or the packaging, and you can put it into like a Z palette. They've actually got these ones on Amazon from, I think it's called Adept Cosmetics. Like they've got these really big ones, and I've got two. I've got one for my blushes and bronzers and highlighters and one for my eyeshadows, and you can fit so many in there, number one, but you can find like Z palette dupes, like just empty palettes. You can find those everywhere now. Yeah, I've just gotten to the point where I'm so tired of clutter. Like I'm so tired of not being able to use up anything because, you know, you can only use so much, and I feel like if I can see it in a palette, I'm going to be more likely to kind of dip around in different things and just use things more. So I've done that with my blushes, my bronzers, my highlighters, not every one of them. Like there's some things I can't depot, and there's also some things that I don't want to depot like everything because I still have to travel and whatnot. Even like, something else I started doing. I started actually pressing loose pigments because I wasn't using them. Like I buy these loose pigments because they look really pretty, they swatch really pretty, they're beautiful, but I just don't use loose powders. You just need some alcohol and a binder. And P.S. coconut oil is a binder for eyeshadows. Yeah, just do a couple little drops of coconut oil, the fractionated coconut oil, in like a little empty magnetic pan. You can find those on Amazon too. And then you put your loose pigment in there, and you put some, you know, alcohol, and make it like a little moussey paste and let it dry, and you got yourself a pressed eyeshadow that you will actually use. So that is it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more just like simple beauty chats like this, like we're not putting makeup on, we're not necessarily talking about specific products. I mean, we were like, I throw them in here and there just to kind of give you examples. But if you just want to see me or hear me talk about just beauty, just ideas and topics, and let me know about giving this video a thumbs up. Here's some more videos for you to check out next. Just venture around, make yourself at home, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and turn the notification bell on to always see my stuff. And I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah, mwah, mwah.